Morning, everyone. You know me.
Morning.
I'm business coach Nancy, and I am here with web designer extraordinaire Robin, and she is going to talk to us about the importance of your home page today and how to optimize it to keep people on your website. Is the first thing I think of, Robin. What do you think?
Absolutely. Your website, well, your homepage is how most people are going to actually enter your website. So that's the true first impression. And we only have one chance to make a first impression. So
Yes.
It is critical. And it's really what's going to determine whether visitors to your website stay on your website to learn more, actually go on to other pages, scroll down, or whether they bounce right off and move on to the next interior designer's website. So the messaging on that page and the design of that page are really the most important of your entire website.
Because it's also setting the tone.
It is.
Setting the tone for your brand, for you, for your ideal client. It's really doing so many things right away. So just like,
and Nancy, there's so many different buying personalities. So someone who's like a quick start may never go past your homepage. They may get enough information there to click on contact us and get in touch with you right away and not look at anything else on your website.
It's so hard to design for all the possible personality types that may come to your website. And well, we also have to consider what personality types you want to work with.
Yes.
Do you want to work with quick start people? Right? That's another whole lot. We'll do that another time.
It's a whole other thing. But I just wanted to mention before we go into the mini audit, and I'll say we're doing Allison from the Cheerier Interior. We're going to be taking a look at her homepage. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about a framework that can be really helpful to follow when you're laying out the design of your homepage. And I really like Donald Miller's story brand framework. And we can do a whole video on this, but just to quickly kind of go over the order that he recommends is you want to have your hero section. That's kind of the big picture at the top of the website. And that's where you really need to pull people in immediately. You literally have like 2 seconds. And what you want to have there is very quickly what you do, who you do it for, how it helps them, and a call to action. Like, how do they buy it? What do they do next? With an aspirational image behind those words, your best work. What can potential clients aspire to have after they work with you? So that's the first section. Then you want to move into what he calls the failure section. I don't love that term so much, but it's really where you want to show that you empathize with your target audience. So you might want to just point out some frustrations or problems that your ideal client is dealing with. Like, is this you? Does this sound like you? 1, 2, 3 bullet points, because that is going to get that prospective client to be like, oh my God, they understand me. And then they're going to keep moving on because you've shown you get them, right? So that's sort of the failure section. And then what you want to do is have the vision section. So this is where you're establishing yourself as the guide. You're the expert. So what I like to see in this section is a little bit about you with a great photo of you linking over to your about page and a stellar testimonial. Just one, like an excerpt, a really great one. Okay. And then comes the here's how section. And that's where you outline your services and how you can help, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next one is the how it works section. And what's really good about this is this can be maybe 3 simple steps to get started. You want to alleviate the fear that a prospect is feeling about reaching out to you because it's scary. It's a big investment. They don't know you. They need to trust you. So if you can just say, it's easy to get started, 1, 2, 3. What are the 3 steps? That can just kind of help them along. And then, of course, there's other things that you can include. Donald Miller calls that all the junk drawer. But you can definitely have more on the homepage if you want to. A link to your portfolio, a link to your blog, your lead magnet sign up. But that's kind of like the basic framework and flow that can really work for an effective layout of your homepage.
Okay. All right. I love that flow. So that's The Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
It's a book that kind of gives you what he feels is a great flow of the website. And you agree with him. You like his
I do.
style of the flow.
I do. And he's all about telling a story, and you make your client the hero of the story and you're the guide. And there's a lot of really valuable information in there. But
Okay.
I like, for the flow of the homepage, I feel like it sets things up in a really good way, a good order.
Okay. I love it. I agree. I think that's great. I got to go to my website and see what the flow is.
I'm sure it's wonderful because you had a great designer.
Yeah, I do. And I did, and I always have. So yeah, as we've morphed it over the years, it's probably changed a little bit, which is part of what I loved having these conversations with you and my other sponsors, because it reminds me of the basics again. Because I think as we go along in our business, sometimes we chase a shiny idea or object and go that's what I should do on my website. And then you do it, and you've sort of gotten away from the base purpose of your website, and you've made it like way too much, let's say, right?
Yes. And like what you and I were talking about before, the most important thing is that it's authentic to you.
Yes. Yes. It's got to be authentic to you. Okay. Tell everyone again whose website we're auditing today, or you're auditing and I'm just watching and facilitating the questions.
Yes.
So who are we doing today again?
We are looking at Allison's website, and she is the owner of the Cheerier Interior, which is a great name. I really like it.
Cheerier Interior. That is a great name. Oh my God. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide myself, then I'm going to hide you, and then I'm going to bring up her website, and you're going to talk us through it. So everyone should be able to hear our voices, but just not see our faces. So here I go.
Okay.
You have to switch the share screen.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
is that okay?
Yep, it's coming up now. And then I'm going to get rid of somehow the display on the bottom. Okay, we can see it. Let me just change. Aha, I think that's better. And let me see if I can get rid of the on-screen agenda that's flashing. You made some changes. Okay, I did it. Yay. All right, you take it away, Robin.
I'm just going to do a quick scroll. Can you see that moving?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so here we are on Allison's homepage, and I just like to go through section by section. So let's look up at this top area, which is her header section. And the great things that she's doing is she's got her logo over here and her menu over here. And I love that she's got contact us at the far right, because our eyes go to the edges. So we want the most important information there. And she's got a hover effect on the button, which is wonderful. And I love that she doesn't have any social media icons up here. I always recommend that those go in the footer at the bottom of the website, because the last thing we want is someone to land on your website, get distracted, and be like, oh, she's on Facebook, and click off to Facebook, because that's going to increase your bounce rate. That's not good for Google.
Yes. Yes.
No. So she's doing some really great things here. Couple of areas that I might suggest she change are, we've got 8 different menu items here, and sometimes that's a little much for our human brains to absorb. 5 to 7 is usually the sweet spot. So she might want to remove home, because if you click on the icon on her logo from any other page, that will take us back to the home page. So home can sometimes be a little redundant. And the other thing is, testimonials and press can always be incorporated onto other pages of the website, or linked to from other parts of the website, or potentially put in a footer menu. What we really want in our main menu are what I like to call our money-making pages. So services, projects, home, about, contact. And then the other types of pages, like your educational pages, those can go in a footer menu or be linked to from somewhere else.
Okay. I like that. I like the way you say the money making pages. Like, it helps you remember what are your most important pages to show.
Exactly. Because really, the reason we have a website is we're trying to sell our services.
Right. Yeah, that is why. We don't just do it for the fun of it.
Exactly. And those educational pages are incredibly important, especially for building up a know, like, and trust factor, but they're not your money-making pages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then if we move on to the hero section, that's what we're looking at here with the image and the words "fall in love with your home" all over again. And it's absolutely wonderful that she's showing an image of her work and that she's got a little bit of a white overlay over it so we can read the words very clearly. I love all of that. Couple of recommendations I would make here is I would actually suggest making the image a bit taller so we can see a little bit more of it. Because again, this is the aspirational image that I was speaking about when we were talking about the story brand framework. So you really want to make sure that this is what you consider to be your best work, what clients can.
Well, also it's with the in my opinion, with the overlay, it's losing its wow factor. Like when I go to my interior designers who have redone their website, my clients, and bang, it's just one fabulous big picture right away, clear, crisp. And I just go, wow. And
Yes.
that wants to make me scroll down even an inch to see everything else. Cause it just hits you as being the most fabulous interior you've ever seen.
Absolutely. And what you can do is remove that sort of white overlay and position the words that you ideally want to have there, maybe off to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that we're just covering a small bit of it and you can have that sort of white background just covering a small part of it,
Mm-hmm.
or playing around with the color of the font so that you don't need that white at all.
Or putting it just underneath.
Or just underneath, exactly. But this is where you want to let them know, people who landed on your website, that they're in the right place. So this is that sort of what you do, who you do it for, like how it makes their lives better, and what should they do next.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would actually say, just as an aside, you want to be careful about that call to action, what they do next. I was always making it sort of the contact us call to action.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I've been doing website design and thinking about it, sometimes I feel like it might be a little too soon to have.
Like you said, you have different types of personalities, right? You have your quick decision maker. If I see a fabulous photo and it's exactly what I've dreamt my house to look like, I'm hitting that contact us. That's me. I'm a quick decision maker. But for someone who wants to mull over more things, you want to have those spots for them to travel around.
So depending on who your ideal client is, rather than a contact us button right there, you might want to have a learn more and have it go to your services page. So that's a personal business decision that you can make. There really isn't a right or wrong.
Right. Okay.
And then when we go to this next section, what's really great is you can see she actually started with, "Are you frustrated with?" So she has somewhat set this up a little bit like that failure section, which I think is fantastic.
I like that too. I want to put feel of your home all on that second line, the spacing, but that could be the size of the screen that's changing that too, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I was going to say a couple of improvements are she might want to list maybe one or two other frustrations, problems that her clients are dealing with. And you really want to make that stand out. So I would look design-wise at different color fonts, some font hierarchy here, different spacing, maybe some bullet points, but something so that there's certain parts of this section that pop a bit more than others.
Yeah, it could be considered a little boring, right? And my eyes just sort of glaze over the words. Where if there was something, if it was in an image or bullet pointed or put some interesting image in there, it would make me want to read it more.
Absolutely, Nancy. And something to think about is maybe doing a 2-column setup where we have an image on one side and the words on the other. Yes. Again, we always want to make everything as scannable as possible because we all have such short attention spans, and lots of text is we're just gonna scroll past it.
Gotcha. And I agree. Okay.
And then she's got another call to action here, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
And then we're coming to in this next section where she's got a really lovely 3-column layout with 3 images.
Oh, I like this.
And, clicking over to the other pages of her website. So I love this. I think it's a fantastic, it's laid out really nicely. Something that I would recommend is making these the about me, the projects, and the services, having some type of hover effect or making them a button so that we know they're clickable items. Like,
Yes.
we know they are, but not everybody does. And again, we just want to make everything as simple as possible for the visitor to our website. And I would also consider maybe adding a sentence or 2 underneath each picture before the about me, projects, and services, just saying a tiny bit about it. And especially if Allison is trying to rank for any keyword phrase on this page, we definitely want to beef up the content then.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love we've got a photo of her. She's looking right out at us. That's really fantastic.
Yes, from a body language perspective also, her hands are showing, which is great. A smile directly at the camera, open stance. It's a good shot.
Yeah. And it's nice. We're seeing, 2 more images of her work, which is wonderful. We always want to showcase as many images as possible when we've got beautiful images to show.
And those are beautiful images. Somehow I want those to be the words to be centered under those images as well.
Yes, I would agree with you. I would like that as well.
If it's possible. Some templates have limitations, so you have to work with the limitations, but that's one other thing that I might.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is her call to action section. And I love that she has a call to action. I highly recommend it. I actually like it's a nice image because when you have words over it, you don't want it to be too busy. I like that it's a detail rather than a full room.
Yes. Agreed. I like that no one's trying to figure out what the room looks like. It's just really about the message in this case.
Yep. And I actually like the darker overlay over the image. I think it gives it a really nice feel. One thing that I would suggest is maybe not using the word survey. I don't know if that would be considered a little off-putting to some people. Maybe client application form or contact form or inquiry form. I'm not sure what you think about that, Nancy.
I love the word brief. I focused on the word brief, not survey, but I will tell you to get started, fill out a brief survey. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably wouldn't do that. I would probably bounce because of that. Well, but it also depends on what's on the survey for me. Like I think that, and I teach this, that sometimes we're asking for too much information. Some people are not going to be comfortable. First name, last name, address, and then, how many questions. I always say, make sure what you're asking are things that you really need for that first phone call and nothing extra. And then get more information little by little each step of your process. But I would say to get started, I would say to talk to me, click here.
Yes. So I was going to say, I would suggest maybe rewriting that. And we want to have we want this to be catchy. This is where hiring a copywriter can come in really, really handy.
Yeah. Like want to chat and there's the button.
Yeah.
Like think about how when someone's excited to redo their kitchen and they just got the inspiration, they just went through their kitchen, like, oh my God, I want to redo my kitchen. They run to their computer, they find your website. Are they going to lose enthusiasm or are they going to gain enthusiasm?
Yes, exactly.
And this one with me, I don't feel like filling out a survey. I just want to talk to somebody. So if I hear click here, talk to me. And yes, it could end up going to fill out these couple of, these 5 questions and I will give you a call, that kind of thing. So they feel like they are talking to a person.
Exactly. But all that being said, it's fantastic that she has a call to action because a lot of websites don't, and people don't know what to do next. So well done with that.
Yes.
Yeah. And then we've got a testimonial section, which is fantastic as well. Really happy to see that she's showing these. And these are actually coming straight from her Google business profile.
I was just going to say that. I like the fact that she's doing a feed from her business Google profile.
Yep.
And if she gets a new one, it's going to automatically pop up, or did they do a screenshot of this?
You know, I'm not sure because I didn't get into the back end of her website to see how it's set up. But what I really like about the fact that she's pulling it from her Google My Business profile is these are unedited testimonials.
Yes.
So in a way, in a prospect's mind, you haven't chosen the best of the best to show them. You're showing them the real stuff that people have put up online about you.
Yeah, screenshots are golden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Along with video, if you can get video, right?
Oh, of course, of course. But I think this is really great that she's got these here.
Yes.
Really happy to see that. And then we've got the footer section, which Nancy, you know, I always like to talk about because it is an important part of the website. And I love that she's linking to her social media accounts from the footer. It's great that she has her contact information listed here. What I would love to see is a privacy policy because she does have a contact form on her contact page. So she is collecting personal information, which means she needs to have a privacy policy. And I would recommend adding in her service area.
Yes. I'm a little concerned her address is out there too. I don't know if it's her home address or whether it's a brick and mortar office, but I would probably go right down to Kirkwood, Missouri. And if there's a phone number there, I'm calling that number and not filling out her contact form. So
Agreed.
Is that what she wants?
Right. I agree. I talk to all of my clients about that. Like, what is their initial inquiry process? Because if they want everyone filling out that form, then we don't necessarily want other means of contact on the website.
Right. But if your population that you design for is an older population, they may not want the contact phone. They just want to pick up the phone old school. So it really does matter who your ideal client is or who you're trying to attract.
It matters so much who your ideal client is. Absolutely. And I agree with you. That address, if it's a brick and mortar or a studio space, it's fine to leave it there. But a home address, I definitely would take that off.
I think there's a misconception, Robin, that you have to have your home address on your web and a physical address on your website. Yeah. I'm not sure how that came about, but I remember thinking that myself too. Like, I have to have an address on my website.
I think I know where it came about. And actually, we're finished if we want to come back on.
Yep. Well, let me get us back up on the screen.
Yeah.
And hide this and go like this. And here we are. Hello
so
again.
I think where that came from is it might tie back actually to search engine optimization with your NAP, name, address, phone number, and all those online listings, how your business name, your address, and your phone number need to be listed the same way across the internet everywhere. Yeah. So we don't want to say like suite 2, unit 2, number 2. It needs to be suite 2 across the board. And that Google notices all of that. And I think that is why some people put the address on the website.
So you might get slightly dinged if you don't have the exact thing across, but let's be real. We all have to be safe also.
We have to be safe. Google changes its algorithm all the time. I don't even know if that's important anymore, frankly. I don't talk to my clients about putting an address there unless they have a physical studio space or brick and mortar store. Yes. I do not think your home address should be going on your business website for security reasons. You know, and I think, again, what we were talking about with phone and email, it really comes down to your target audience, who you're working with, how they want to get in touch with you, and what your initial process is and what you want people following and finding a nice combination of the two.
Right. Okay. All right. So Masha had commented, totally agree that there should be one main call to action. Displaying a few may lead to confusion and then inaction. Yes. It's true. And I know that we're guilty of that because we have brand new designers coming to us, designers who have been in business for a couple of years and then really seasoned. And there are different programs for different ones. So it's hard not to have 3 calls of action, at least on my website, because I have different things, right? So people have to consider all of this in making a website, which is why they need Robin. It's a lot to consider the personality of the people people who are landing on your website, the people who you want to stay on your website, and the ones you want to get off of your website, and then where you want them to be navigated to in order to eventually hire you. It's not as easy as people think to to tweak that, which is why, there are people like you out there to help with this.
There's a journey that we need to be taking them on. And that's how we come up with what your website architecture is, the different stages and how we're guiding people through to take that route. I always like to say from curiosity to conversion. That's what we want.
That. From curiosity to conversion. Love that. All right, Robin. So thank you, Allison, for letting us use your website. I hope that you got some great tips out of it. And somebody say, okay, I don't know who wrote it because I can't see. Clarification. Oh, it's Masha again. You can and should have a few thought out, learn more about your services, about you, etc. But one main one, yes. And the rest are secondary calls to action. Yeah, 100% agree. And Masha's a copywriter, so she would know.
Yeah. So I actually like to see your homepage as almost a vertical menu of your website. So again, a little bit about you with a link to your about page, a little bit about your services with a link to your services page. But that main call to action that should be a section unto itself, in a sense, that's what the primary goal of your entire website is.
Entire website. Okay.
Which for most of us is to have people contact us, book a call.
Yeah. Get on my calendar, right? That's
could be buy a product, sign up for a course, depending on the kind of business you have.
Right. Mine could be during promo, fill out an application for Profit Insiders, like that kind of thing. So, all right. Well, thank you once again, Robin, for a fabulous audit. Do we have somebody for next month already?
We have somebody for next month, and I believe we have somebody for the month after, but so that's September, October. If anybody would like to sign up for November, comment on the post, pop me a message. We would love to audit your site.
Thank you, Robin. Tell everyone how to find you, because when they want to redo their website, listen, I did my own websites in the beginning. I get it, but I have to, at this point, as a business coach, highly recommend people to save their pennies and get a phenomenal website as soon as they can in the growth of their business, because it really makes a tremendous difference in not just the people who are coming to you, but how you feel about yourself and your business. It's an ego boost to redo your website. You're like, oh, it's beautiful. And it gives you that reinvigoration sometimes that you need when you're starting to get blah with your business.
So true. So true. And you want to be really proud to show it off and drop the link everywhere. So
everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone go have a great day. Oh, I'm sorry, Robin. Go ahead.
They can find me at rdwdesignstudio.com. That's my website. And I'm on Instagram, RDW Design Studio.
And you've been doing some great lives with people I've been watching.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, if you're looking to DIY your website, Robin always gives some great tips so you can start to do that yourself. If you're struggling and you're ready to hire a web designer, Robin is definitely absolutely on the top of my list that I recommend. So if you need a new website, check her out. The link is in the description below. So we'll see you next month, Robin.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.